You will act childish. And Goliath will paralyze you in fear until you can't have people tell you you're a child forever. I grew up in London. I'm a Londoner. London born, London bred, London fed, London wed. My family moved to England from the Caribbean in the 1950s. And the last three of us were born there. I grew up in England in the 70s when it was rough. Rough for people who looked like me. From where I was from. I know you don't know nothing about that. So I just respect. The two classes of boys that were constantly socially struck up, educationally struck up, were young Caribbean boys, West Indian boys, and young Irish boys. In West London. When I was 14 years old, they took me to an educational psychologist. They said they sat me before this educational psychologist. The educational psychologist assessed me and said, Mr. Tibbler, I have a problem with him, is that he's just uneducated. He's just uneducatable. And with one statement and strike of their pen, they wrote me off education. I was permanently excluded from public school. Ended up in pupil referral units. I didn't go back into education until I was 25 years old. People telling me that I was just a child. Listening to their statements and the delightful statements paralyzing me with fear. But if you don't know who you are, anybody can name you. Then anybody can name you. So the story says, the king says, okay, go and fight. And what does the king do? The king puts his armor on David. All his armor on David. David says, I can't fight in your armor. I've got to fight in my armor. I can't fight in my mother's praise. I've got to fight in my praise. I can't fight in my mother's experience. I've got to fight my experience. You can't fight in Pastor Davis's experience. You've got to fight in your own experience. You can't fight in your heritage. You can't fight in your experience of True Life Baptist. You've got to fight in your own. You can claim to and claim from and remember the heritage. Yes, sir. But when it comes to fighting on your knees, you've got to fight on your own knees. When it comes to calling on Jesus, you've got to find your own Jesus. You've got to find your own strength and your own victory. But that's all right. I'll tell you why. Because Jesus comes to you with the victory and drives you to your knees. Jesus tells you need to pray. No, stop talking. Stop talking. Pray. And Jesus reminds you. The weapons of our warfare are spiritual. You can't. Think about it. Think about it. If you download from the internet, you know you can't even download a song without having to deal with pornography on the internet. So how are you going to fight that? Huh? You know you can't listen to a record, every record, just socially, sexually, culturally demeans and defiles who we are as men and who our women are as women. How can you fight that? You can't walk down the street without somebody looking at you, and just by looking at you, they are determining who you are before you even open your mouth. How can you fight that? You can't fight that with carnal weapons. You can only fight that with spiritual weapons. You can only fight that with spiritual weapons. Yeah, the Lord will show you when to use and how to use your carnal weapons. I understand it. I'm not saying pray everything away like life is a bubble. But how can you fight that? You have to remind yourself of the Goliaths who have already faced in your life. You have to remind yourself of how God has already come through. And only fighting the armor that God has given you, your skills, your gifts, fighting those armor. David goes out and faces Goliath. Goliath is incensed that David has come out with a sling and a stone. Why? Because David has a bigger perspective. You come to me with sword and spear, I come to you in the name of God. You can't fight against me. Greater is he that is with me than he that is against me. How you can fight against me? Do you even know how my God is? My God writes in brick with his finger. Who are you? My God writes in stone with his finger. Who are you? He steps out and he faces his Goliath. Let me say to you, face the Goliath. You know, if he's not for you, he's just not for you. Face it out. If she's not for you, man, she's just not for you. Face the Goliath. All right. If that boy won't do better than he wants to do, he needs to go be a man. Face the Goliath. The boy 25 years old, living up in the house and he's still washing his clothes. I mean, all right, you wash his clothes if he's a hard-working boy. But if he's some shitless Negro that don't want to do anything, face of Goliath. Face of Goliath. I know the job ain't, you know, what you really want to do, and you feel the Spirit telling you, step out in faith, leave it, step out in faith. Face Goliath. The only way we can kill Goliath is to face Goliath. Don't be afraid of Goliath, because greater is he that is with us than he that is outside of us. Be clear on how you're going to face and kill Goliath. David told him, I'm going to kill you. All right. David said, I'm going to kill you. Not only am I going to kill you, I'm going to chop your head off. Didn't he say? David just got wicked. Once David decided to fight Goliath and face Goliath, that was it. You got to be clear on how you're going to face and how you're going to fight your Goliath. Why? Because Goliath will fall. Goliath and all his issues. When Goliath fell, everybody ran. When Goliath fell, everybody ran. All the things that supported Goliath, your fear falls, and your depression falls with it, and your obscurity falls with it, and your sense of self, your sense of no self-worth falls with it. When Goliath falls, everything falls with it. Goliath will fall. God has spoken, Goliath will fall. God has decreed, Goliath will fall. Success in life's battles and your determination to kill Goliath isn't something that happens to you until it happens in you. All right. It isn't something that happens to you until it happens in you. We decide and then we walk into that victory. We choose it and then we walk into it. We define it and then we walk into it. We determine it and then we walk into it. Success doesn't happen to a person until it happens in a person. Victory is a decision we make, not an experience we have. We make that decision, then we enjoy the glory of it. So David does it. You will fight and conquer your Goliaths and be successful. But don't get bent out of shape if they don't know your name. You know, a church leader once said to me, you know, it's amazing how much you can achieve if you don't care who gets the credit. Ain't that the truth? It's amazing how much you can achieve if you don't care who gets the credit. The king turned around and said, because David walked up to the king. They called for David. David killed the lion. Stopped the stone. You know the stone didn't kill the lion. The stone knocked him out. Yes, sir. The story says the man was so big David ran up on his body, pulled the man's sword out of his sheath. Then the story said David killed him. He didn't kill him by chopping his head off. The story said David killed him. Then he chopped his head off. David sunk a stone in his head. David killed him, chopped his head off. Then the story said they called for David. The king called for David. And the story said David walked up to the king with Goliath's head in his hand still. The head still in his hand. The symbol of his victory is still in his hand. All right. The symbol of his overcoming is still in his hand. He walked up to the king. The king said, who are you? Who are you? And he said, I am the son of Jesse, the Bethlehem. Don't get bent out of shape if people don't remember your name. It's your actions that are going to forget. All right. I used to love watching the streets of San Francisco. Right, the streets of San Francisco used to have the epilogue. I don't know if you remember it. You know what I mean? The show wasn't that good, but Quincy Jones used to write some great music for it. Quincy Jones did the script for all of it. And right at the end, there was always the epilogue. There's an epilogue. Right at the end of it. But the epilogue is in 2 Samuel. Right at the end of 2 Samuel in 21, there's a very obscure story that people just pass by. The story says that once again, the Philistines came out to fight, and David was old in years. All right. And they had been fighting all day. And then the story says that a giant called Ishbosheth came out. Ishbosheth, they say, was related to the lion of Goliath. And Ishbosheth vowed to kill David. The story says that David wanted to go out and fight, but he was tired because he was old. But a young captain called Abishai got up. He said, no, king. No, you stay here. I'll go out and fight you. Yeah. The story says Abishai went out and fought and killed this giant. They said to the king, you ain't going to go out to battle no more, king, because we don't want the light of Israel to be extinguished. You stay here. But the story doesn't end there. In those short verses, it speaks about 6 other situations in which another Philistine giant came out, and another captain went out and killed, and another Philistine came out, and another captain went out and killed. Do you know why? Because they weren't born when this whole story of David and Goliath happened. They grew up